Welcome to DJ Talks, episode number 39. This is Johnny. I am Johnny.
What's up? I'm Dan.
And this episode is going to be a little different in that we're going to do a little more of a vlog style. We're going to talk about everything that we did while we were at PAX East this past week in Boston, with some clips edited and of like stuff that we were doing and like, you know, what it looked like to be there. But this weekend was crazy, wasn't it, Dan?
It was super exciting. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, it was just super awesome. So
yeah, PAX East was pretty big. For those of you guys that don't know, the Penny Arcade Expo in Boston is one of the biggest gaming festivals like in the world. I think that there were close to 90,000 or 100,000 people in attendance at this event. It was at the Boston Convention and Exhibition Center. It was really, really packed. There was a huge exhibition floor. There are a bunch of panel rooms. Bunch of large game companies are there giving out really cool stuff. They had really cool deals on merchandise depending on like where you went. Like HyperX was selling discounted headsets. Like Dan got one. Are you wearing it right now, Dan?
Yes, I am. I am wearing my HyperX headset right there. If you guys
it's a revolver, right?
It is a revolver. So
yeah, check
it out. HyperX.
I think those retail for like $120, and Dan got them for $60. So that was pretty dope.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But before we do continue, thank you to Kevin once again for commenting last week. He did talk a little bit about the drama with Badawi as well. And yes, listening to Monty and Doa is great just because of their commentary. They're always amazing. So even in Owl right now. But unfortunate that they are no longer doing League.
Yeah.
But thank you. Thank you for keeping up.
And Kevin, I hope you enjoyed the Godstaff Jax skin that I gave you. I only gave it to you because you are our most faithful viewer. So hope you enjoyed that. And if you didn't own Jax before, then now you own a new champion.
Boom.
Yeah, let's jump right into it. So going into PAX, this is your first PAX. This is my second PAX, but it was my first PAX East. And I want to make that distinction because my first PAX was at PAX South, which is considered a much smaller event with heavy tabletop focus, whereas PAX East and PAX West have a greater esports focus, and they have a lot more celebrities that attend. They have a lot more stuff going on at those events that are outside of what you would see in board games. So what did you expect going in, Dan? Like, what were you looking to experience? What did you want to see? What were you hoping to feel?
I just wanted to feel like I was part of a community, you know? No, really, like, there's just a whole bunch of gamers in the world, and I don't actually get to physically see many of them, right? So being able to meet a bunch of people, see them, play games with them, see the excitement and the passion of everybody is just amazing, and how much people actually love gaming and the scene and board games, video game, whether it's everything. So all that excitement, all that passion, really, I just wanted to feel that, honestly. And then I obviously wanted to check out new games. So, but I had no clue what PAX would be like. And this place was huge, so I literally went in only thinking that and nothing else. I had no clue what I was expecting out of PAX. I didn't know what it was going to be. I just knew it was a convention hall. I didn't know it was going to be that big. So it was just very surprising at the end of the day there.
What did you know about PAX before you went to PAX East?
There's going to be games. They're going to be free play areas, and then there's going to be panels. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess like you had those similar expectations if you've gone to like big conventions. Like Dan, you and I have gone to Anime Central before, right? That's a really big anime convention here in the Midwest, specifically in Chicago. So a lot of these conventions are styled similarly, right? I think that you'll have a lot of stuff that they try to give something for everyone to do to reach as a wide audience as possible, right? You'll have like big cosplay photo shoots. You'll have tons and tons of exhibitors trying to sell merchandise or demoing what's coming up. You'll have a lot of panels for people to go to, maybe interact with individuals that might be, very notable in the industry. For example, I went to a panel featuring Yoko Taro, the director of the Nier series and Drakengard. So that was really cool. I would have never thought that I'd be in the same room as Yoko Taro, right? So there is a lot of stuff going on, and it's really easy to feel like you don't get to do everything. I think that like going into PAX East, I didn't really have set goals either, Dan. I was similar to you where like I just wanted to experience it, I wanted to feel it. And the it feeling, is something that you it's hard to describe. You want to experience the atmosphere of being surrounded by hundreds of thousands of people that feel the same way you do, or like feel the same way that you do about one game as they do another game. I think that's what was really exciting. Being in an atmosphere where you see a lot of people who are in love with like Fortnite, for example, or you see like PUBG is like, what everything, what these guys, all they care about. You also see a lot of people that like really like continue playing League or will continue playing Overwatch and maybe won't play as many of the big, larger new games. But then you have like tabletop, right? Like we spent some time playing board games that we had never played before. Just a lot of fun. So I guess we could jump into that then. You arrived in Boston at like 2-3 a.m. The night before the Friday PAX.
The tickets were cheap, man.
Man, that sucked. I'm not gonna lie. Like staying up that late was kind of sucked, but it was still dope. Like it was fun. So as for a little context, going into this weekend, Dan and I were staying at a friend's place. Who lives in Cambridge, which is where Harvard is. And he's like a 5-10 minute walk from Harvard's campus, which is pretty cool. And I brought my Switch with me. So I don't know why you didn't bring your Switch, Dan.
I don't have a case yet, man. Come on.
Should've just got a case.
Come on, man.
But I brought my Switch and I had a couple extra Joy-Cons. So we started playing Overcooked. This is like the theme of the entire weekend. We would stay up really late every night playing Overcooked, which is pretty cool. So that night that we were waiting for Dan to arrive, it was Thursday night going into like Friday at 2-3 a.m. My buddy Kyle and I, we were just staying up as late as we could trying to like get through everything in Overcooked, and we knew that we had to make it a goal to beat the game by the end of the weekend. Come 2 a.m., I was like, all right, dude, I'm done. I'm tired. I'm just going to knock out. Are you cool waiting for Dan? He's like, yeah, he'll stay up. So Kyle ended up waiting for Dan. My ass knocked out. I felt bad because I couldn't like greet Dan, but then I got to see him in the morning, so that was nice.
It was pretty late though, so I didn't expect it to be that late. But the time change and the flight and all that, it just happened. It happened.
You must have been really tired too, dude.
Yeah, I was pretty exhausted. So
you had like a full day of work, and you went home. You had to like pack and like eat and then just fucking hop on a flight, man. That's exhausting.
It was all right. I got to sleep on the plane a little bit, and I was so excited. That's all. I couldn't sleep well because I was so excited. So honestly, just all right.
Yeah. So the next morning, Wei, another friend of ours, shows up at 8 a.m. So it's like, oh man, everyone's just like barely getting in on time to go to PAX. But then we make it happen. We get everyone together that we head over. It was pretty cool walking through Harvard with these guys. You never seen Harvard before, right, Dan?
No, I haven't ever seen Harvard. So all I can tell you right now about Boston and that area, Harvard, is I heard a lot. First off, I heard a lot of British accents. I'm telling you right now, I heard a lot of it. It was very interesting because at least in Illinois, I don't hear that many. But that's one thing I noticed. Second thing, their articulation of words as well as their knowledge, you can kind of almost feel and sense it. And their conversations that they had, or maybe it's just where we were. Maybe it's just like the couple of people that I heard, but their conversations were all very intelligent, There's nothing like troll or nothing stupid like what I talk about all the time, but super intelligent like politics or this class that they had or all this random stuff. So I just felt smarter just being there.
I would be a liar if I didn't say that. Like I felt the same way. I didn't hear as many of the accents. I definitely heard like a couple, and I kind of expected that being on a college campus where you have a diverse background of people. But it definitely felt cool being at Harvard. So I guess for context for you guys, I arrived in Boston on Wednesday. I just chilled in Boston, or specifically in Cambridge, for most of Wednesday before going to meet with my friend Kyle. And then on Thursday, I went to PAX by myself, which is actually really nice. I wanted to give myself a day to myself at a convention where everything was new. I got to talk to everybody I want to talk to. I got to go like explore everything I wanted to explore. Buy anything I wanted to buy. I ended up not buying anything that day, but I did cosplay that day. I was Satoshi Ishiki from Shokugeki no Soma, which is pretty funny. I did wear clothes. I wasn't naked, but I had a couple people recognize me from the wrong anime. I had a couple people who did recognize me, and it was fun. I was having a lot of like career-oriented conversations with other people in the industry while wearing like a fucking like headband and apron, so that was kind of funny too. But that's just conventions, right? But anyway, so I did hear some of those accents, Dan, when I was like a couple of bookstores on Wednesday before PAX, and it was interesting because I just like it came so naturally to me. Like, oh, these people, they're probably like a professor here, or they're just visiting for some like lecture. I don't know, whatever. That was cool. And I did feel a little smarter just like being in an atmosphere of like, man, all these guys like they go to Harvard. I'm a really big advocate of the argument that like you don't necessarily, the school system kind of sucks and it doesn't necessarily support creative thought. But I also know that being at Harvard is one of the best universities in the world.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna feel a little something different. Maybe I was just like thinking myself into it, but it was pretty cool being there. Especially in the bookstores where like I was looking for books to read, and there are a ton of other people like picking up their favorite books and stuff. So yeah, Harvard's a cool place. I hope to visit there again sometime.
Definitely. The campus looked really nice too. So at least from what I saw of it, we didn't actually walk physically through the entire campus, but we walked like around the campus. So we did get to see students. It was almost like their Green Street that we walked on. Right. Mm-hmm. If you guys went to U of I, Green Street, big street, lots of food and stuff to do.
It's like the main street where like a lot of people will go to for like food or drinks or like if they want to study somewhere, right?
Right. So yeah. But we going from there, we actually took a train to PAX. Walked. It was probably about a 5-10 minute walk, so it was actually really quick. Total travel time probably around 20-25 minutes, so pretty nice. Glad that we got to at least be very close to the convention center there. So the line though, when you step to the convention center, it was absolutely insane, and the reason why is because they had to check every single person's bag. With everything going on in the world right now, all the bombings and the shootings and everything, unfortunately, it slows down the amount of time that it takes for us to actually get into a convention center. Security measures, but so they not only had the almost like a TSA check section, they had to check your bags, everything inside of it. Some people took it slowly, some people took it quickly. So if you didn't have a bag, you could get in a lot quicker. But at the same time, you didn't have anything to hold all the merchandise you were going to buy. But no, I mean, you saw cosplayers in line. You saw people playing games. Johnny played Pokemon Go. Then a kid saw him play Pokemon Go, so he started playing Pokemon Go too. So everybody was just talking around, super excited. There were some pretty good cosplayers. I did see little fun side thing. Well, you guys, I think it was you and you and Kyle went off to check on a different line,
Mm-hmm.
we saw a person, like a couple, in a cosplay. I don't know what it was, but it was so for her it was a very almost skimpy. It didn't. It showed a lot of skin. Now there are little flaps on her, almost like flaps that cover her private areas. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
with the wind blowing really it was pretty windy, I would say, early on. Her boyfriend had to hold her butt almost the entire time they were walking
Seriously?
to keep the flap down.
Holy shit. It's kind of troll.
That was just a funny story, a very quick funny story. Entire time I was just kind of looking at them. I mean, the girl was a little bit attractive, so I was looking at her too. But he was literally just hand on butt, holding it there. All right, that's enough of my story there.
That's pretty good. But yeah, so the line was like really long. Dan, you're 100% right. Doing bag checks is like obviously that's something that you have to do, but if you didn't have a bag, the line was a lot faster to go in. Personally, I brought my Switch with me, knowing that there might be an opportunity to play. So I had to bring that in, and everyone just put stuff in my bag, so it's like whatever. But yeah, it seemed like there were the overwhelming majority of people who brought bags with them. I think that if you can get away with not bringing a bag, then like you'd be golden. But it's kind of hard to do that. But
Probably take one day without a bag and then the rest with a bag.
Yeah, I mean, I brought a bag all 3 days
Mhm.
just because like I like having my bag with me.
Right.
But like my buddy Kyle, he's pretty good at being a minimalist, so he just doesn't like need to have that stuff, and it's more like just to walk around and see things and whatever.
But the free merch, that's you can't miss out. Where are you gonna hold it? You gotta get
There wasn't that much free merch. I mean, we got like these T-shirts, these Riot League of Legends T-shirts. This just says like Jungle Main on it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, but we got like 10 shirts,
Well, yeah,
shirts per
but-
person. So
Yeah, so I guess going into what we did at PAX then, we went right in and we went like straight to the Discord booth where we got like a couple of free Discord shirts after playing Perfection. Took pictures with Wumpus, and then got those cool pins.
So for context, when you walk into this convention center, once you actually walk into the main center, it's almost like you're descending or you're ascending to heaven or something. The number of people, as well as the booths and the games and the big name like Asus, big name Corsair, you have Facebook Gaming, you have Blizzard, you have all these huge title, big name developers, gigantic booths with gigantic like signs on them. Everything set up, loud excitement. You just see it all, lights flashing, and this convention was super long. So if you long over large, I would say, like you
I mean,
almost
the convention center was long.
right. The convention center was
was
long,
huge.
so very very big. But it was just like a wondrous sight to see. That's just drop my.
Oh yeah, no, it was really nice. Like Dan's 100% right. The thing is, when you go into the convention center, it's a lot of the walls are glass, so it's really cool to see like through the glass, all of these vendors and all of these like companies are representing themselves. It was pretty dope. Not something that you really get to see every day.
But yeah, I mean, we walked a little bit around. We went straight to the Discord, like you said, and met a couple of your Tespa peeps.
Yeah, ran into some of my teammates, which is pretty dope.
And then we actually checked out Nintendo
Mhm.
while you were talking to your friends, which was super cool. Just because Nintendo's booth was amazing as well. They had a little setup where it was a team versus for Splatoon 2.
I had no idea that Splatoon 2 was so much fun to watch.
Mhm.
Like competitive. That was pretty cool.
I mean, the announcer did a great job. The commentator did a great job in just building up that excitement too.
Mhm.
He showed his excitement as well as talking out the game as well as including the audience a little bit. So I think he was really cool. I don't know who he is. I think he's someone from Nintendo or someone potentially.
Yeah, I have no idea who he was either, but he was dope.
Mhm.
But I guess for those of you guys that don't know, Splatoon 2 competitive is where like you just try to cover as much of the map with paint as possible. You can't cover walls, but it's more ideal to cover your opponent's paint than it is to cover clean ground, because then you take away from their percentage of like percent of paint covered. So you get this, and kills don't matter, but you can kill people by shooting your paint at them. If they're a different color, then they're just gonna splat, is what they call it. And you have all these different kinds of guns and weapons and abilities. So it's really cool to see like all these people interacting. There's some people that are really, really familiar with Splatoon and they're playing at a pretty high level. Others I clearly picked the game for the first time and were already playing on a big stage. It was really cool to watch. I didn't realize that it'd be so much fun to watch. It's pretty exciting. I think the spectator controls are a little strange, but I could see why people might want to watch this, like similar to like in the same style of an esport. I'm hesitant to call it an esport because we haven't seen it blow up to the degree that other games have yet, and I'm not aware of what the scale is yet. But this is also just the fact that Nintendo has historically been very against like turning the games competitive because they want it to be like family friendly and everyone can play. But they are holding a Smash Invitational and they are holding a Splatoon 2 like Spitfire or something. I don't remember if it was called Spitfire, but like they had like a tournament series going on. So then it's really exciting. They recently actually hosted an ARMS tournament too, that punching game for the Switch.
Yes.
So
we got to meet the champion actually right there.
We didn't really meet him. He just stood next to us.
He stood next to us. There you go. Well, we still got to see him, I guess.
Yeah, but it was cool. But yeah, Nintendo getting into esports is a totally different topic, but it was interesting to see that they were supporting it at PAX. Like they wanted to create a competitive environment for people to play one of their most popular Switch games.
And they did a great job. They had a gigantic screen. You got free little bananas and merch and hat and everything. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed the Nintendo booth. Too bad there were way too many people also very interested in the Nintendo booth. So we would have had to wait an hour and a half or two just to play like one or two games. And
yeah, and the thing is, like with those games that you're talking about, Dan, those were the Nindies.
Yeah.
So there was a specific booth like with like I don't know 20 or 30 Nintendo Switches plugged into TVs. And you can go into this booth, but the thing is, those are all games that haven't come out yet. And like there is so much hype about all these games, like Dark Souls Remastered, big title. Hyrule Warriors, it's kind of like a revamp of the Wii U version, but that was also like a remastered version, right? Tons of games that haven't come out on the Switch yet that were highly anticipated and super hyped up were available to play at PAX. So like they had this thing where you can like jump into the front of the, if you went to the Nintendo booth really early on in the day, you could check in with your Nintendo account and get a fast pass to where like certain hours of the day you could just jump into the line and you wouldn't have to wait the 2 hours to get in. We tried to do that on Saturday, but we were unsuccessful. But it was a good time, man. Like seeing the Nintendo booth, it seemed like they did a pretty good job. It could have been bigger for sure. I think that it could have like they had enough fans to justify the hype to make a bigger booth. But it was still really cool to see.
Especially with how big Nintendo is. Yeah, shell out a couple more dollars here. Get a bigger booth. Come on.
Yeah.
But they had a prime spot as well, like right in the center of the, like almost the company area, right? The big company area. So, but yeah, I mean, after that, we went over to the almost indie game section where we actually got pulled in by one of the creators, or I guess one of the, maybe he's just advertising it a little bit, but some
of my teammates were gonna play in a board game called Hegemony, and then we just decided like, oh, we could play with them because they had extra seats, alongside the fact that like the sales guy was trying to like get us to play. So I was like, all right, sure, like if we already know people that are playing there and there are extra seats, like why not? We'll try it out.
And it was definitely worth it because I actually really enjoyed this board game. And I'm going to show it to you guys right now. It's called Hegemony.
Yeah.
Hegemony. Come on.
Oh, I'm triggered, man. That sounds so bad.
But yeah, it was a super cool board game. He taught us kind of the ways first, and then we actually played a full game. Congrats, Kyle for winning. So tilting, but winning from behind, and congrats to you there. But super cool game. It wasn't even a. So nowadays, there's so many games that are similar to deck building games, right? Lots of different random playoffs of deck building, this and that. This was a little bit different. You were competing to get to the finish almost. It was from like, there's a little scale from 1 to 10, and there's a little map. You're supposed to get from 1 to 10. I don't know what the points are called, like causes, I think. But they're overall, they almost built their own world and their own storyline, and each character is supposed to have a little description to explain their lore as well.
It's pretty cool.
Not only on top of that, the board game, they also have a little a card game as well called Kausa, and they it's all part of this same lore and world. And the card game has a play like Hearthstone-ish, but completely different mechanics to it. But it's super cool that this company created their own world and now are building new board games and new games off of it. It's called Niebla Games, so if you guys want to check it out, Niebla.
I mean, it's kind of similar to what you see in a company like Blizzard, where they have like their own universe and world where like all their games kind of revolve around. And like speaking of which, the Blizzard booth was fucking phenomenal. They had like all these super hype trailers playing, even though like we had seen it before, like the World of Warcraft expansion trailers, the Legacy of the Void trailers. They had a StarCraft anniversary trailer that was playing. That was really cool. Like I've never been so hyped about StarCraft in my life, and I hardly play the game, even though I really appreciate it. I love the concept.
Blizzard does a great job with production wise, and like the video making and editing and everything. So
absolutely. I mean, I loved being at the Blizzard booth. It was really cool. I just wish that the merchandise lines weren't that long. I really thought about buying one of those like Blizzard World of Warcraft backpacks. Those look really nice.
Super nice.
Yeah, but I mean, it was a good time. I really enjoyed it. So then later during the day, we got to go like meet. We met with some random cool cosplayers. We got these T-shirts from Riot, and then we eventually like we just got, by the time we wanted to like sit down and chill, it was 6 o'clock and the expo hall that closed. So we're like, oh, we should just go sit down and play some games somewhere. And this is something that I really liked about PAX East that I didn't do too much of at PAX South. I think at PAX South, I did a ton of walking around and just like exploring and getting a feel for stuff. I did play a lot of board games, but both at PAX South and DreamHack Denver, I didn't get a chance to sit down with my friends and just play computer games. That was something I was really looking forward to doing at this event. And I think that that's a really big reason why like people attend these events. Like, yeah, you can play these games at home. You can hop on Discord with them, and it'll pretty much be the same thing. But like being in an exciting environment where like they're sitting next to you, it feels a little esportsy, and everyone else around you like is doing the same thing. I think that's really cool. So come 6 o'clock, we went to go sit down and play a couple board games, which was really cool. I got the chance to like try out what's it called?
Dixit.
Yeah. Or we got a chance to try out Dixit, which is like a really unique game, which could get trolly really fast. I actually think that's a really fun game I want to pick up. And then later we got to go to like this free play area to try to play on some PCs for a while. So Kyle, my buddy Kyle, isn't as big on gaming as we are in like the PC world. He plays a lot of games like the 3DS. So playing CS:GO and PUBG for the first time was a pretty fun experience. We all got to sit down next to each other and like just hop into games together. And we didn't get very far. Obviously, we didn't get to like finish any games, but it was pretty cool. Playing first-person shooters with like someone who had never really played them before, but like he was excited, and it was really fun to hear like how much he was enjoying himself, despite like clearly being very new to the game and not really being familiar with any of the mechanics at all. Right? Like for jumping in from PUBG to CS:GO. He thought that they were gonna be like lean mechanics, right? And I realized, that is very misleading. You know, we went from one shooter with these mechanics to another shooter that didn't have them. And then we immediately went to be like, oh wait, you can't do that in this game. And that's something I guess like we take for granted as people who have like played the games for a while. So I think that was like kind of eye opening and also like really fun, just like being able to play with someone who had no idea what was going on, but still like was able to enjoy himself. And then after that, we went to check out the console area. And again, that's something that I think a lot of people miss out on because they spend so much time on the expo floor, and then they just go to like a couple of panels that they want to go to, and they might not get a chance to do like to experience all the different kinds of things. Checking out the console area is cool. You could go and check out a console and just go play. They had like Wii U's, Xboxes, PlayStation, Switches, and everything set up. But I had my own Switch. So what we did was we went to a booth, checked out a TV, and I just took out the Switch. I put it on the side. I put mine in, so I had my data. And we just continued playing Overcooked from where we left off the previous time with me and Kyle. So that was a lot of fun. We did that for like about an hour. It was also really nice because we're just like I said, we could easily have been doing that in Kyle's living room around a TV playing, which is exactly what we did when we got back. But like, being in that console area, you're surrounded by a ton of other people who are like looking to play the games. Maybe there's some people who come over and watch. Other people are like just excited as you are to play the games that they wanted to play. I think that setting was really cool.
It's literally about the atmosphere.
Yeah.
When you actually get into it, if you're a gamer at heart, and not even if you're a gamer at heart, you don't have to even be a gamer to experience the excitement and to experience the fun and the thrill of kind of being with so many other people just playing games, and they're not exactly playing your game, they're playing other games, but you can hear them shouting and getting excited. You see a whole bunch of TVs set up in one room. For board games, you saw just everybody, almost so many people playing board games. We couldn't even find a spot. So the feeling that you get in that kind of environment, I understand now. It's so much different from even playing at home or even getting a LAN together with your friends.
Yeah.
It's larger, it's bigger, it's better. It just feels so much more than, yeah.
I think that you could probably replicate a similar experience if you did go to like a big party with friends. If you intentionally hosted like, let's all get together and like go to someone's apartment. If there's enough space, like bring your computers, we'll play. I know that back in college, for one of my spring breaks, I think it was my sophomore, junior year, a bunch of my friends just decided to come down, and we were just huge bums that week. We like would eat out every day. There wasn't a lot of space in my both my roommates are gone, so we had plenty of space to like sleep in, like, you know, the apartment comfortably. And we just brought our computers. We would just like watch movies and TV shows and like play computer games all day. It was fun. And like just being in that environment of like other people are here and they're playing the games, you get to like see their reaction. You get to hear them live instead of like over a microphone. Like it's a very different experience. And Dan, I think you're 100% right. Like when we talk about the atmosphere, that's really exciting. You don't get that really at home outside of like those like special occasions, right? Even if I were to invite all my friends over to like, you know, my apartment and we're gonna like have like a game night or something, I think it would like kind of bring some of the same excitement that you would get from like being in person with everybody, but it wouldn't necessarily be the same as being at a huge convention where like I can go to a room upstairs and like do this really cool thing over there that everyone else is doing, or I can go downstairs to like this board game area and play board games and like see the excitement of everyone else playing board games. It's really unique, and I think that a lot of people will pay for that experience and pay for the opportunity to like go and meet people too, because I think the networking there is really cool. Like I got to meet a lot of really cool cosplayers. I got to meet a lot of really cool industry people. I got to like meet with a lot of people who like cared about the same things I cared about. So that's something that you don't really get either, and you could do over like playing games with each other. Like at PAX South, I got to sit down and play board games with people that I like not necessarily ever had a real conversation with before, but we got to talk about like, you know, the development of esports, and we got to talk about what the future of like certain companies would be doing based on what their goals were. Here at PAX East, I got to get lunch with like a couple of cool industry people, and and just like hear from them or get coffee and just talk to them about like pick at their brains, find out what they cared about, what their thought processes were, and stuff like that. So like beyond that, being in an atmosphere of like tons of really exciting games is like a lot of fun. But then it did come a point where we were all really tired. So we went to go get Belgium waffles in a place in Cambridge, which was fucking delicious. Those are really, really good. And then we went back to Kyle's, where exactly like I said before, we fucking sat down and we just played Overcooked for a couple of hours. That was a lot of fun. Personally, I haven't like stayed up that late to play video games with my friends in a very long time, so that was really cool.
Definitely. Just for context as well, the convention center was pretty much, you had a main expo center with the large companies. In the center, almost there was an entire indie game section, and then all the way at the end was an entire board game / free play section on the PC and the board games. So you actually got to check out board games for yourself, and they had a massive collection where you set up a bunch of tables so you can play with your friends or random people as well. Then they had a whole free play section of PCs, which had a whole bunch of PCs. Probably roughly, I don't even know. They had a PUBG arena.
Oh, that was cool, yeah.
So you had 100 computers set up there, where you can have 100 people get into the game, jump in, and compete like professionals. Then you had different floors where you had a second floor with panels, you had a second floor for console gaming, a bunch of other different stuff. So this was a super large convention hall, so as you can sort of imagine now. But overall, I mean, we went off. Second day, I had 2 days, you had 3 days. Right, so second day we got to just explore some of the other things that we didn't actually get to explore. Like more so into the Riot Games section. We got to do a couple of meet and greets with some famous streamers from offline TV. We got to meet Lily Pichu. Johnny, you got to meet Pokimane. How was that experience, and how much did you love her?
I like how you say that we got to be streamers from offline TV, and then you tell them who they were. So I was like totally starstruck when I met Pokey. That was a really good experience. I actually had a lot of trouble, like, and I talked about this briefly, but like in college, it just sucked, like trying to go to sleep sometimes and not being able to, or like being just really stressed out with like random shit going on. So like she was a stream that I actually watched a lot in college because it was pretty chill. And then her ASMR videos helped me go to sleep a lot. Like I listened to them all the time to like, try to go to bed. So meeting her in person was a really nice opportunity for me. Like thank her, even though like I'm literally just another guy that's probably said the same thing that someone else has said. Like, you know, at some other convention before. Got her to sign like a couple of really cool things. Like I got her to sign one of these league shirts and a Pokemon card. But it was a really good experience. We took a really cute picture together, and I made that my wallpaper. And like for the next like 24, 48 hours, even now a little bit, like I was just so starstruck by like having met her. It was really nice, and I think that man, this is gonna go in like a total tangent, but I'm just gonna like keep it brief. There was a moment when I was in Japan for the first time where I felt a similar feeling about like having been in a country that was just like so much fun. And I think that feeling is something that I don't get very often. So I really try to treasure it where I can. And I tell myself like, I'm going to feel so bad if I ever forget this, or if it's not something that I get to like hold on to. And, you know, it's like going to these conventions and being with like really good people for those moments are really what makes them valuable. Like it's some people will find it hard to justify spending like a couple $100, like go on a trip somewhere, experience this thing. For me, I think that like those feelings and those moments are what make it worth it, especially like having been with like Dan, Wei, and Kyle. Like being with my friends was really good. So moments like meeting people that I really admired made them even better. So it was a good time.
I mean, not only were you not you weren't the only one who was starstruck. I was also starstruck once I saw the offline TV bunch. So, like I said, Lily Pichu, Pokimane. I even saw Fedmeister. I saw Disguised Toast. I didn't actually get to see Skara at all once.
Yeah, I didn't get to see him either. That felt pretty bad.
That was pretty crazy because it was. I mean, they were always together. So, but yeah, all these streamers. I got Kimmy, so from and Foosly, which Leslie. So those as well. So there were a bunch of big streamers there. So I was definitely starstruck as well. I was super excited. Even if I don't watch like Foosly or Kimmy that much, I still see them every so often on my videos that do pop up, and they're always entertaining. So
yeah,
I got to
it was a good time. Going to Saturday, it was pretty chill. We did a lot of similar stuff. Like Dan said, we did spend a decent amount of time like with the riot area. It was also really cool having a chance to just like walk around and like try out a lot more games than we did before because like the lines were really long on Friday. We got there quite early on Saturday, or earlier than we did on Friday. So we got to try out games like Dauntless. We got beta keys for that. I think we got to try Just Shapes and Beats, which was like a really anticipated indie game that had been coming out for a while. And if you don't know what that is, it's a really, really cool rhythm game. That's good for people that don't play rhythm games. I would definitely look into it if you like have any interest. What else did we do on Saturday? Oh, I had to eventually leave early because I had like a big TESPA event going on that night. But it was still really cool having a chance to like walk around, like take things slowly. Because like the first day you go in with all your friends, like it's really hype and like you feel like really overwhelmed. But then like the next day, like it was nice to just like take things easy and like to go here, go there. Dan, that was when you bought your headset and you had like a real debacle in your mind of like, what do I want to do? What am I gonna?
I was so lost.
Yeah.
We got to play Dauntless. We got to try out the new Dauntless. It's still in beta, closed beta right now. But if you guys have heard of Monster Hunter, it's almost like a cartoon-ish online free-to-play game similar to Monster Hunter, where you're fighting monsters with gear, with swords, weapons, whatever you need. So that was super fun as well. Unfortunately, one of our friends, Wei, had his computer mess up. Yeah. But overall, it was a pretty cool game. I would say it has pretty good mechanics. It's very fluid. Just some kinks and bugs that they need to work out. So, and I got to see a bunch of cosplayers as well. I got to see a cool Thresh cosplay, which they actually had the Thresh lantern with a speaker inside, so like a Bluetooth speaker making the soul noises. And that was super cool. We got to see League of Legends cosplayers, so a whole group of people who were actually cosplaying together, and they dressed up as things like TF, Twisted Fate, Jin, I think Caitlyn as well. I'm not sure. I don't even remember. I have a picture of it, but their cosplays were so well done. And I was actually expecting a lot more cosplayers when I did go. There were a lot less than I thought there would be. So, but the few that we did see were also very good. So.
Yeah, I mean, in general, like, it was really cool to see like all this really like random stuff that people were doing that was just like their way of embracing what it meant to be a gamer. Like Dan said, like that Thresh cosplay was like pretty creative. It was just a young woman who like made it very clear who she was, but like in a really creative way that wasn't like to try to match exactly what Thresh looks like. I think that in general, PAX was a really good experience for me because like everyone that I met outside of the city was really good. Like I randomly played Pokemon Go with people, and they're all really nice to me. They added me to like their Facebook chat, and then we went raiding together like before PAX. Everyone that I talked to at PAX was really nice. All the strangers that I met at PAX were like really cool. We got to like meet with some of them and like get connected with them on Discord and League of Legends. There was a lot of really cool things to try out at PAX, which is also really nice. And then at the Tesla meetup, I got to meet a lot of really cool people that I never met before, and it was really nice to hear from like the industry members what they were doing on campus, and also like from people that were working at larger companies like Twitch and MSI. I had really good conversation with people that were working there, and just hearing about what their aspirations were and what their ambitions were. So in general, I thought it was like a super memorable weekend, just stacked on top of the fact that I was surrounded by really good company, playing a tons of video games all the time. It was really chill. It was really nice, and like I had a lot of flexibility to do just whatever I wanted to. We also had a lot of really good food, so that was really nice. I just wish, Dan, that you could have stayed longer. I know that like you had a work schedule to attend to, and that you like made the effort to go home early so you could recover and get back to work without like that affecting your schedule too much. But I think that like the day that we got to spend in Boston was also a lot of fun. So I kind of wish you were there for that. But even then, like when you were there, I really enjoyed it. So yeah, PAX is a really good time, and I'm really looking forward to PAX West, which sucks because you won't be there.
But definitely, whoever hasn't checked out PAX or hasn't checked out a gaming convention or hasn't checked out a convention of their interest, check it out. Go. It's worth it. It feels good. Spend that couple of dollars to actually go. If you have it, if you have that couple of dollars, just go. It's always an amazing experience, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely.
But from there, glad you guys can join us. Do you have any final thoughts, Johnny?
Leaving the convention, I thought it was really hard for me to like. There's always that post-convention withdrawal that hits you pretty bad, and it just felt bad thinking that like I had such a good time that it went by so quickly. I was so excited the weeks leading up to PAX, and like being there was thrilling, and then all of a sudden like it's gone. Like it's over. So I did a lot of journaling, and I took a lot of photos, which is a lot of fun. But I will say that like these events are definitely what you make of them, and you can't just go and expect to like have an amazing time. You have to really make the effort to try to connect with people and to find things that you'll enjoy. And I think that when you do that, it's going to be a really good, worthwhile experience. And it doesn't have to be too expensive either. If you plan accordingly and you try to reach out to like see like maybe you can stay at a friend's place, maybe you can like just go for like 2 days instead of all 3 or 4. And like you're smart about how you like manage your budget for food. I think that the trip is totally affordable and justifies the experience that you'll get for going. So those are just my thoughts. I know that like for people who have never gone to a PAX before, it's hard to justify going if you know that like it's really expensive and it's like a totally different city and like it might not even be worth it. But if you're on the fence about it, for me, I was on the fence for a while and I eventually pulled the trigger and I went and I loved it. So maybe I just got lucky, but I think it's because I also like went out of my way to make the experience what I wanted it to be. So those are my thoughts.
Very good. Very good. Thank you again, guys, for watching, and thank you first off to Kyle for letting us use your place and stay at your place, and thank you to Johnny for convincing me to go. It was a lot of fun, and I think that is it. You guys will see us next time.